Hi guys, welcome to week 2 of our Action English spring session. My name is Stephen Hoag, and I'll be going through a little bit of old information from our last video and also a lot of new information in this lecture, and then I will also be posting your week's assignment, okay, and tell you a little bit about it. First of all, it's Monday. This is our last day of our shopping week. I suppose you could say that shopping week because you can move between classes if you have a class conflict, or sign up for a class if there's still room. I think most of my classes are over capacity at this point, but I'm going to try to make sure that you all have access to the same information that we shared last week. So I'm going to go quickly through some of that first. So let me just begin here. Alright, so some of these slides you might have seen in our last video. You want to check online for, the CBNU website first for any information that might have to do with your schedule or your contact information. Make sure that you have the correct email registered with the school, all that stuff. The syllabus that's been posted is also shared with other teachers, so I tend to give you most of your assessment information and of course your materials information here in our video lecture early in the year, so that you have all the correct information for our classes. Generally, in a normal year, not a COVID-19 year, but a normal year, we would be spending about 4 hours a week. That's 2 hours twice a week in a regular classroom. I am going to try and follow the schedule for your Zoom sessions because we will need you to be here for your at least your first or second class in attendance on Zoom. But we're not going to be spending a lot of time with the listening laboratory. The listening lab is for your listening practice books. It's important to practice, especially if you're looking forward to a higher score with TOEIC or an IELTS exam in the future. But we'll be spending most of our time with the main text, okay, in Zoom and in our video lectures. The Listening Lab book has all the answers in it and the translations to Korean, so it's quite easy to self-study. We won't be spending that much time with it during our regular lecture hours. But we will be reviewing all of the key cornerstone English language skills, including not just listening and speaking, but writing, reviewing, and speaking. Yeah, well. Alright, this has been sent a few times. Make sure that you're in the correct class. You'll also remember we will be submitting assignments and taking tests using Edmodo, so make sure that you're registered correctly. Okay, if you see your name is not being shown as both your name and your student number, you can change that in your account settings. Okay, so you might have to look for that. Make sure that your name and student number are prominent, okay, or I will ask you to change it or delete the account. This has already been a week. Some of you still need to make sure about that. So these two books, I'm hoping that everyone has them by now. When you do get your student book for Startup 2, you can open the first page and activate your online workbook on the top. You can also get an English app for your phone. Both are useful, but we will need the workbook for your homework. B1, like I said, the listening book, very easy to use because it has all the answers and translations. If you're not Korean, you'll still find it fairly easy to use because of the dialogue. But anyway, if you go to ybmbooks.com, you can go to the MP3 tab and you can search for all of the audio MP3 files. I'll tell you a bit more about that soon. The Zoom meeting is coming up very quickly. I think Action English 11 and 12, both of you guys. Action English 11 at 1 p.m. this Thursday is our first time meeting on Zoom, and Action English 12, we meet together at 3 p.m. on Thursday, first time meeting. I did post a Zoom schedule so you have all the information to sign into Zoom. Make sure you're in the correct class, okay? Make sure you know your class number and class time before you download the link. I'm going to give you a bit more classroom etiquette in another PowerPoint coming up, but you can generally, if you haven't used Zoom already, I'd be surprised, but it's important that you're not disturbing others, so I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about that. The class calendar, always subject to change because of this online stuff, but I will try to keep it fairly simple. I'm going to be giving you video lectures like this one once a week or more. I'll post it again in Edmodo, and I'll give you plenty of time to submit assignments so that if you do have any questions, you can reach me to ask, or wait for Zoom and ask it then. But you'll have enough time to go over the assignment, and you can always resubmit on Edmodo. I'll just mark whatever the latest submission is before the due date. We'll talk more about the schedule, but early July, possibly end of June, is our finals week. We'll see what happens. There are a couple days off for holidays. We can discuss that later too, if we power through it or not. Okay? The assessments, right now the final exam is sitting at 40%. That is subject to change as well, because we may do something for the midterm, or maybe not. It's still a ways away, but generally we will have, most important thing is attendance, because if you miss, 7.5 hours, I think, more than 25%, if you miss attendance, you can fail the course, which is a terrible way to fail, especially if you're doing well on your grades. But the listening final will be 15%. Your attendance is 10%, and your homework will be 35%. This week I'm also posting, I'll do it today, right after I post this video, will be a self-introduction, and I wrote a big list of things to consider when you're introducing yourself, and I also did give you a small glance of my grading rubric for your speaking presentations. So you do have lots of time to practice, submit. If you think about it and you want to do it again, resubmit before the due date. You'll have a week from today, March 15th. Okay, and that is on Edmodo. Do not email me your assignments. That's the best way to lose points, because I will not grade them. This is why we have Edmodo, is so that I can organize all of your information and you have evidence of all your submissions. Okay, so please follow the instructions carefully, and please send it on time. If you do have questions, of course, my Gmail is my main student email, but I would prefer that you reach out to me through Edmodo, or you can call my office during hours. Just a moment. Hi guys, sorry about that. Where are we? Alright, yes, Edmodo is the best way to contact me. Okay, because I can see your messages very quickly if you send me a private message, or even in your assignment tab if you have a question about your grades or your assignment. I would say send me a personal message on Edmodo and it'll pop up like Facebook for me. It'll be easy to answer. Just remember to keep your class number in all your messages with me so I can find you very quickly. Okay, just a moment. Okay guys, so another thing I wanted to mention a little bit more was about our listening practice books. I'm not sure if you have A1 or B1 at this point. Anyway, go to ybmbooks.com. Okay, it'll take you to this page. You want to find the MP3 tab on the top. Okay, and then you can punch in your listening practice book and number and search for it. It will give you all the MP3s, okay, and you can find them very quickly. You can download them files to your computer very quickly, and they're either sequential units or they are individual audio tracks for each unit. Very simple for your self-study. Okay, you can help yourself even more if you want to study new vocabulary. You can make flashcards or make new sentences. Don't worry about practicing all the units. We probably won't get past 10. But you can listen and read the script at the same time and then try to listen again without the script afterwards. You could do that. Or for your speaking, for your pronunciation and your intonation, you can practice by reading out loud at the same time as the audio track, which is called shadowing, which is a very good way to improve your speaking skills. Okay, just a moment. Okay, another thing I'd like to mention is about some information on your Zoom classes. Most important, please be on time. If you are late, you may not be able to join the class because I might not let you. Keep your camera on, okay, so I can see your face clearly, and I can see your speaking. Try to keep your camera in the right spot. Do not have it facing the wall, or do not use the camera while you're lying down or sleeping or something. Please use your full name. If you do not use your real name, you cannot join the class. Okay, so if your name is Minho, that's great. But if you sign up with as Flower123, I know that's not a real name, and I won't be able to see you on the attendance list or find you for other grading purposes. So Please use your real name during our Zoom sessions. Find a quiet place where you can speak comfortably, okay? Don't do the class when you're out in a cafe or if you're outside walking, okay? Or where it's very loud. It's not going to be helpful for anyone, including you, listening or speaking. You should not be using a smartphone, and the reason why, I mean, if you have nothing else available, I understand, but it's really more awkward to use a smartphone for a Zoom session. You should be using your computer or a tablet that would be easy to be hands-free, okay? During full class mode, you should keep your mic off. But if we get into smaller groups, okay, or breakout rooms for group discussions or partners, then you can turn it back on. So during full mode, alright, when everyone's there, it's probably going to get pretty loud, even if there's a few background noises. So unless I speak to you or ask you to turn your mic on, you should keep it on mute. But when we get into smaller groups, that's when you want to keep your mic on so everyone can hear you and you can have conversation. Try to be professional and respectful. I have faith in all of you. Don't use any bad language. Try to use English only when you're speaking or even typing in a chat. And make sure that you have finished eating or speaking to other people at your house or your dormitory so that there's no interruptions, okay? And eating is just a little bit rude when other people are not. So please do that before you join the class. And don't wear your pajamas, okay? If you should get into the habit of dressing up like you're in a regular classroom, okay, for the group chat. Otherwise, it seems too casual and informal, not a classroom setting. Make sure that you participate, okay? Talk with your classmates using English. This is an English class. It's the best way to learn. And it'll be more interesting if you know, even if you feel your level is low, you can still participate with others and improve. Also, yeah, just be mindful. Another maybe careless thing to do, certainly, well, just not very studious thing, but also kind of rude, would be to be occupied with something else, like watching a video, listening to music, playing a video game, or doing other things with your phone or your TV, whatever have you. Try to focus on the class. It's not going to be a very, very long time, okay, and it's our regular classroom hours, so there shouldn't be any reason that you're not focused on our one meeting, okay? Remember, you will need your textbooks after we've done our introductions and stuff. Well, I'll tell you a bit more about that, but we will be using our textbooks, but I also want you to have a notepad or a paper and a pen and pencil to possibly take notes, write things down, even doing some exercises with other students, okay? So you should have those with you for each Zoom class, just in case they're needed. If you follow the rules, then there's no problem. If you don't, if I find that there's any problems with certain students, I will take my own notes and I will ask you to leave the class. And if it's a recurring problem, then I'm going to probably not allow you to attend the classes until you've shown some remorse or improved and apologized to others that you've affected. Okay? So I don't think it's going to come to that, but please follow the rules and be considerate of everyone else in the meeting. Okay, thank you. Now I got one more thing to share with you. Just a moment. Okay. This one is about how to be formally excused for your absence. It's a lot in Korean. Okay, so I'm going to go through it quickly. You can also find this information at the CBNU website, but I've tried to condense it for you. So you want to go to that website. Click here. You can go to this bar. Okay. Click here. Alright, you'll find some information about accepted excuses, which are if you are missing days because of something serious or hospitalization, things like that. There are certain accepted excuses, and there's others that are not acceptable excuses. So you should find out what is acceptable if you are missing a day or more than a day. Okay. And you need to submit within a week before or after the date of your excused absence. So if you are, I don't know, planning on going to the hospital for some procedure or something like that, you can definitely get this sorted so that you don't lose any points with your attendance points, your attendance grade. Okay. You can submit this here, and depending on how serious things are with how many missing days, you might need to talk with the department chair or excuse me, or even get the dean's approval. But I'm sure if it's a serious thing, they'll consider anything that you, and I will definitely consider it myself as your teacher. I'll try to help you if there's an emergency or a good reason for you to be missing days at a time. Alright, and yeah, just so you have this information, I wanted to give it to you at least once. But if you want any more information or any questions answered, you can definitely follow this phone number and speak in Korean. Okay, and that is just some useful information I thought we should share today. I'm hoping that it's helpful. Again, we just have a very simple self-introduction that's due next week. The rest of the week, because we've had a few more new students sign up, hopefully this is helping you organize your materials and your necessities for the class. We're just going to ease into our textbooks next week, but first we need to ease into our Zoom session and make sure that everyone's prepared and accounted for. So your Zoom classes are on Thursday. Double check your appointed time, and I will see you then. Alright, take care for now, guys.